Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Sophia Parola with Garden State Film Festival, and I am here with the people behind the making of the short film, Man on the Tower. Congratulations everyone for having your film accepted into Garden State.
Thank you. It's a good one and it's an honor.
It's an honor I get to talk to you all today and hear about the process. I'm so excited. I'd love, before we get into the interview, just for you all to introduce yourself and the title in the film. I'd love to start off with you, Karl.
Okay, my name is Karl Sheffelman. I am the co-writer, director, and I was also the editor and producer on the film.
So thank you. Tori?
Hi, I'm Tori Rice. I am the cinematographer for Man on the Tower. I also did a couple of VFX shots, and I was the colorist as well.
Beautiful. And last but not least.
Hello, I'm David Gutierrez. I was the location sound mixer for Man on the Tower.
Very awesome, guys. So cool. Amazing team and amazing crew. I'd love to ask you, first off, Karl, for you to give a little synopsis about what this short film is about.
This is a fictionalized account of my early memory as a child, a very young child. I won't date myself, but I will be dating myself. Of the 1966 Charles Whitman University of Texas Tower sniper shooting in Austin, Texas, which was one of the first big mass shootings and certainly on a school campus. And I lived in Austin, Texas. I was 7 or 8 years old, the age of the younger kid in there, although it's more from my point of view. And we could see the tower within a mile from our backyard and back porch. And I just remember coming home with my mom and my little brother from doing laundry, and a woman came running across the street yelling, "There's a man shooting people on the tower." And we freaked out because my father was a professor on the campus at the time. And so he was there, and we ran inside, turned on the radio, and we heard the live news report, which is actually literally used in the film, from Neil Spelse of the local TV station there. And it was frightening. And we went on the back porch and we could see the tower, and we could see the smoke puffs coming from the tower. And our big thought was, where's Dad? And make a long story short, we didn't have cell phones or anything, so we didn't hear from him at all for the whole day. And then he finally came slinking in at the end of the day. I don't remember that very well. And he kind of told us what happened. Whether or not he was instrumental in helping victims, I am not sure, but I fictionalized it. I'm pretty sure he did try to help someone, but I fictionalized the story. I worked with a screenwriter, Tracy Beebe, to sort of flesh out a fictionalized story, help me get out of my head. And she contributed a lot. We decided that we would have the kids try to go save Dad, which sent them on this crazy sort of Stand By Me type journey through the creek bed to get to the tower. And I won't tell you the rest. And then we also added the girl as a young neighbor, who's the one that runs across the street and tells them there's a man on the tower, and she has a radio. So yeah, it was sort of a fictionalized and compressed version of what really happened, and not meant to be overtly political, but it's a look at a day that really changed America with these mass shootings, and the fact that we couldn't just take it for granted that we're safe playing. We would play for hours down on this creek without any supervision, and that all kind of changed that day. So it's also a tribute to my father, who passed away 4 years ago. There was a great movie made in 2016 about the shooting called Tower, which is an animated documentary, but it told it from the victim's point of view. This is from the children's point of view, and we're not right at the tower. We're at a distance.
Karl, thank you. Thank you. I mean, hearing what happened to you, I mean, no one should experience that, especially a child. And I think it's amazing that film gives people the opportunity to share stories and really enlighten others that may have not even known about that situation, but also such a specific point of view. Like that's extraordinary, and not in a great way that you experienced that. But I'm so happy that you guys got to make a film about it and enlighten more people around the world, and they get to hear your story. And even though it's a fictionalized version, I mean, it really is extraordinary. I'd love to ask you about the co-writing process. I mean, having experienced that, especially as a child, how was it kind of going back into those feelings? Was it fresh in your memory? Was it something you kind of had to dig? And I know that you had Tracy help you write the script as well, but just what was that writing process like for you, Karl?
Well, it was very fresh in my memory. I had actually written it down somewhere as a kind of a, early memoir chapter. But the thing is, nothing really happened with us except waiting for my dad. So I felt I needed a writer to sort of help me, amp it up, and raise the stakes and dramatize that. So I had met Tracy at a film festival in Austin, and I liked her style. And she wrote a first couple of drafts, and then I kind of took over after that, because once I had that story out, I sort of wanted to put my personal touches in it. So I did a lot of rewriting on it, but it was a good process. It was a good process.
That's great to hear. So, like Tori, I'd love to ask you next, what was filming this short film like? I know it was in a very beautiful location, and I know you're working with kids, which might not be the easiest, or I just love to hear your perspective about your experience being DP on this project.
It was a lot of fun. I think this is the first time I've actually worked with a director that had a very clear vision. Karl is a storyboard artist, so he was able to provide me like kind of an exact shots he was looking for, and I think we really collaborated well with just kind of knowing how to get those, because most directors I work with are just like, all right, here's my idea and go. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll hope you like what, the shots I come up with. So it was very interesting to work in that perspective. And yeah, the location was really pretty. We were really fortunate. The people that lived there were just so nice and so accommodating to everybody. It was a beautiful backyard. Getting down into the trenches was interesting, but it was fun because everybody was really cool on set. Other than that, working with the kids wasn't, they were pretty well behaved. I mean, they are young, but they didn't go crazy at some points, but we did have to reel them in and be like, all right, guys, let's pay attention. We're almost at lunch. So
you have to do that with crew anyway.
I was gonna say, no matter what.
I think the kids were more well behaved than
yeah, that's true. So but yeah, it was really fun. We shot with my Blackmagic 4.6K, the Ursa Pro, and then with some Tokino lenses, which kind of gave it this really vintage kind of look. It was kind of like a brown tint, and it really, I also used some gold Tifton filters that really helped add to because we were going for that kind of vintage style and just that time period, and I think that really fit well with and it helped in editing or in color, so I didn't have to do as much coloring, which was nice because I always like to shoot what we are going to see, so we don't have to do everything in post. That's kind of like the goal. So I think we accomplished it pretty well.
Yeah, Tori and I worked a lot in pre-production ahead of time. Tori put in a lot of work, and we knew we really decided what color palette we wanted. And that was the primary colors and the sort of yellowing or browning to make it 1966. And Tori really put a lot of work into that with lenses and filters and all that, and then the coloring later. And same with David. I mean, the good thing is I had my locations, and we literally got to walk those locations beforehand, because I wanted it I wanted to not be worried about any of that part of it, so I could focus on those kids, keep their attention.
Oh, yeah. David, can you tell us a little bit about dealing with audio, especially in that open environment in the woods with kids? You know, what was that like for you during the process and then after when you had to do that sound mixing? I have no idea how that is. So just what was that like for you?
So nothing crazy, but like Tori mentioned, I think just getting to the creek was a little bit of a challenge. So I have a ton of equipment. I had my sound cart, and just getting down, I felt like we were mountain climbing for a bit, but the crew was great. I had a lot of help, and people to help me carry all that stuff down there. And but yeah, that it was fun. And I forgot who it was, but someone, I felt like I was in the middle of Tropic Thunder or something, because someone pulled out a machete and just like hacked away at some trees and like, all right, we're getting through this, guys. I was like, this is great. I think it was a veteran too, because he knew some really cool tricks on how to tie trees off. He had like all these Boy Scout tricks where he grabbed like there were these branches in the way, and he grabbed like some limbs and tied it to another tree and made a special knot, and all the trees were just like out of our way all of a sudden. I was just really impressed with that.
That was Tori's friend. What was his nickname? Austin Machete. Oh, I call him Machete.
Yeah,
he had a machete, and he would whack down anything that we needed removed, and we had to actually stop him from just clearing out everything.
Wow.
A lot of poison ivy to deal with, and brush, but we wanted to keep the woods as well. So like, don't cut down everything, you know. I just wanted to add. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to mention, I do want to give a shout out to Ben, Marky Hilton, and Serenity Autumn. They were my sound team, and without them, I couldn't have done it. And it's not a common thing to have a 3-person sound team on a short film. But I love that working with Karl. He's very collaborative, and we really he allowed me to bring on like a full sound team, which is great. It really gave us a lot of flexibility that you normally see on larger narrative things, and so it was really great for sound, and it was very accommodating and collaborative, and Karl was really supportive in that area. So yeah, thank you, Karl.
It's amazing, guys.
Thank you, David, also known as Sound Ninja in Texas. He works all over Texas, but they were great.
And thank you, Tori, too, because I've worked with Tori before, and it's great to have a DP that's supportive of sound, and we all communicate and we work well. So it was a great team. You put together a great team, Karl.
Thank you. I mean, I did it all from New York, but I found a point person in Austin, a woman that owns a studio, and she had a lot of crew lists and everything. And I guess through friends of friends, pulled that crew together. I just wanted to add that I was determined to shoot this as close to where I actually grew up as possible. The actual backyard where I grew up is only 3 yards down from where we ended up shooting. It was too small, and the owners weren't approachable, too small and overgrown. But I knew this backyard already, so we were basically shooting in my playground as a kid down in the creek, and we just chose a different backyard because it was nice and big and worked well for the shoot. But it was incredible the way things fell together on this.
It really sounds incredible, guys. That's amazing. I'm sorry, because we're wrapping up on the last minutes of this interview, but it's so amazing to hear like you guys, how this happened. And we have some people from Texas. You shot in Texas, and Karl, you said you're from New York. So
I'm from Austin. I'm actually from Austin, but I live in New York.
From Austin.
Yeah.
But you're in New York right now?
I've been here for a lot of years. I went to film school at NYU. So.
Okay.
But there was no bigger pleasure than going back to my hometown and shooting a film.
Absolutely. I just would love to ask you lastly why you decided to submit to Garden State Film Festival and what it means having this short film premiere at Garden State.
I've heard a lot about Garden State, and I know David, what's his name? David, he's one of your trustees.
Yes.
I'm totally spaced on his last name. Sorry, David.
No problem.
And you know, it's a really great festival, and I love the fact that you guys knew how to handle virtual film festivals since you've done it last year. So yeah, I mean, it was a real thrill for me.
That's awesome. Thank you. And David, Tori, any last words, how it feels to have like such your hard work and onto this short film that'll be premiering at Garden State?
I think it's really exciting. I've actually haven't heard of you guys before, but now that I have, I'm going to mention you guys to other people, because you know, normally people just send it around, you know, just Austin or Texas or the typical Sundance and stuff like that. So I think this virtual world is allowing more festivals to reach other people because they have to do it virtually. So I think it's really exciting, and I can't wait to see what people's like reviews are and what they say about it.
I'm just excited to see it. There's so many times after you shoot something, you never get to see it. And I'm glad that Karl actually got this thing edited quickly. Sometimes you never hear back from them again. They just disappear. And from what I've seen so far, wow, it looks great. Awesome lenses, Tori, great editing on everything, color, holy cow. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Yes.
And it sounds great too, of course.
I could not agree more, David. Everything sounded great. I mean, I love the golden vintage look, and I love hearing that you guys really like wanted to capture that and how that process was. It's so amazing getting to talk to you guys. And Tori, you mentioned that you didn't hear about us, but I'm happy you did now, because Garden State really was the first festival in 2020 to go virtual. This year we have a hybrid, so we have a lot of films that are in person, but also everything's virtual. And no matter where you are, we could watch this film, Man on the Tower. I'll tell everyone how. It will be premiering Saturday, March 27th, virtually at the venue of the St. James in the film block, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So it's really awesome. You guys get to all watch it, Texas, New York, wherever you are. Everyone could just sit back and watch this amazing film with an amazing story based on a true event. It's so special. And congratulations, Karl, Tori, David, all of you for all your hard work and what you did wonderfully. This beautiful piece of art.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
thank you, Dave and Tori, again.
Crouching and moving around toward the west side of the building. This is a warning to the citizens of Austin. Stay away from the university area.
There's a man.